Hello.
So while we're loading up our viewers, we're just going to have a little chitty chat. This is our Unstoppable Empath Live Show. Typically, we do the 5-minute timer beforehand. We go live with the timer. This time, we're just going live right here. So we're going to see when you join us. We would love to have you share in the comment thread your name, where you're joining us from. And hopefully someone's going to actually join us today. That'd be super exciting. We'd really love it. So if you're here, let us know, because
I think we need to do the 5-minute timer.
Maybe so. I didn't do the 5-minute timer because all of our videos on YouTube sit and have the 5-minute timer, and then we have to have someone edit it all out. Well, hello, Kelly from Australia.
Can it be edited out?
Yeah, it just takes this one more step, and I just pay someone to do it one more step. So I'm like, oh, we'll just forget the 5-minute timer.
Yeah,
maybe that's not the best idea. Hi, Luann. Hi, Jane from British Columbia.
Nice.
Victoria.
Hi, Vic.
I'm so glad that you're here.
Hi, Kelly.
So today's topic is all about gaslighting, and maybe that's going to be kind of a scary topic, and people feel afraid because it can feel scary. Feruza, hi. We're so glad you're here. It's always so fun to see our familiars. To see your
Tallahassee.
Your face. Hello from Tallahassee, Florida.
So Tallahassee feels like a place that would have a lot of like cowboys in it, but it probably isn't. So I don't know. Cowboys and cowgirls. I always thought Tallahassee was in Texas.
Kind of sounds like it could go with Texas.
I know.
Hi, Cecilia. Hi, Precy. Hi, Darius. I know. You know what?
Stop. No slapping. I'm the only one that can slap you.
If this is your first time joining us on the Unstoppable Empath Live Show, welcome. I'm Jack. This is Tiff. We are the owners of Thought Tracks Coaching and Healing. We have been in a private coaching and spiritual healing practice for 15 years. We are also the creators of Empath Rise and Thrive, which is our empath group coaching and spiritual healing program, helping empaths all around the world love themselves bigger and live their dream life right now. And we have our Connected Empath Facebook group. That is our free Facebook group for empaths everywhere around the world to come and get the support you need. We do this, the Unstoppable Empath Live Show. We just recorded our Unstoppable Empath podcast episode of the same title right before this. It was a very excellent podcast and a little sobering.
Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Debbie from Scotland. Precy. So I'm guessing people mispronounce your name often.
Thank you. Precy, thank you for letting me know I pronounced it. I was just going to go with gusto into the pronunciation. So I'm glad that it's a gorgeous name. That's nice. Today we're talking all about gaslighting. We would love to know here in our thread, because when we do our live show, it's about engagement. We love to be able to have the engagement. With our podcast, we just talk. It's Tiff and I. But the live show, it's you. You're part of this. So thank you for being here. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Mandy.
June, so glad you're here. So today it's all about gaslighting. Let us know in the thread if gaslighting is something that you would like to know more about. Obviously, you're here, so you probably do want to know more.
This is really
important. Is it something that you feel like you've understood, or a new topic that you just really want to learn more about? Let us know. Let us know in the thread. We're going to start out today with 3 questions rather than the Rebel Deck card reading. And the reason Tiff and I do the questions, we used to do table topics all the time.
Yep.
Rather than the card reading. We'll still do the card reading now and then. But the table topics, it gives you a great opportunity to connect with the people you love and ask each other these questions so you can get to know them better and they can get to know you. Tiff and I have used questions as a means to deepening our relationship and our connection for all the years we've been in relationship. And we've been together 15 years. And you know what?
I'm so happy we've been together that long.
Feruza doesn't know what it means. Good, you're in the right place. It's really important that you understand it.
Yeah, Feruza, I bet when we talk about it, you'll be like, oh my gosh. Now I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's do our table topics. It's my turn to answer the questions, but we would also like all of you to answer the questions as we go so that we can get to know you better. And so can all the other students. It's a very connective experience and it's fun. And you get to know us, we get to know you, and you get to know each other. I mean, what's better than that?
Nothing. Okay,
Finance.
so the 3 questions that Tiff is going to answer today, and you too, answer them in the thread. And then we can all get to know each other better there. I know that not all of you can see each other's comments. It's because we're streaming into 5 different locations, 4 of which are on Facebook. 1 is on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube. And then we're on our business page. We're on each of our private pages and then on our Connected Empath Facebook group. So
Jane said, I got my master's in gaslighting and narcissism after a 4-year relationship, and I'm free now. Good job getting free.
Jane.
And I bet you do you probably have a doctorate in that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the questions that we would love to have, Tiff is going to answer, and I'm asking you to answer in the thread.
And I don't know what the questions are yet. So
question number 1, Tiff.
Okay.
Listener, who can drive you crazy in 5 minutes or less?
You. Is that gaslighting?
No. You're just like, I get it. I feel the same way about you.
And we love each other so much we can say it.
Okay, question number 1. Question number 2, what do you say that sounds just like your mother or father?
I call the people that I love nerds because my mom always called me a nerd. And it was done with humor and fun. So she wasn't like, you're such a nerd. She's like, you're such a nerd. And so I call my granddaughter that and she goes, I'm not a nerd, Grandma, you're a nerd. And I'm like, no, you are.
Cecilia said my husband.
Yeah.
Kelly said my kids.
Yeah.
June, my hubby, who uses sarcasm. Monday, my mother.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you say, all of you asking you, what do you say that sounds just like your mother or father? And Tiff's she calls everyone nerds as a term of endearment.
Don't I call you a nerd?
All the time. You do.
I'm like, oh, you're such a
Feruza,
nerd.
her sister.
Don't be a nerd. Come on. Let's not be nerds.
Cheryl. Okay, now share the things that you say that sound just like your mother or father. I get a look on my face that's just like my mother.
Oh, yeah, this right here. Look. That. That.
Oh, boy. Okay, what do you say that's like your mother or father? I hope nothing. Cheryl.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I will look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I just did this thing that looked just exactly like my mother. Or sometimes I'm just sitting there and I do this expression. I can feel it in my face and I can feel it looks just like my mom. And the older I get, the more I'm becoming like my mother, which is so funny to me because it is just serious genetics. And it's so funny.
Okay, Mary said, don't say about someone what you can't say to their face. Is that something that how you, the stink eye, June, stink eye? Bailey, take out the rubbish.
Rubbish.
Cutie pie.
I love it.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh boy. Victoria
who is the
daughter.
is my daughter. So what do you feel like you do that's just like me?
Oh, Pasha.
Oh, Pasha.
Hi, Ree. We're glad you're here. Don't believe me? Just ask me. That's my dad's word.
Don't believe me? Just ask me. That's a good one. I might adopt that one.
Feruza, wait until you have children.
Yeah, totally. I've heard that one.
Okay, you ready for the next question?
Yes.
June's, bless her heart.
Oh, cute.
Okay, are you generous or cheap with yourself?
That's a hard, I think I'm generous.
Well, what would you say?
Well, I think I'm a very generous person.
I would say you're generous because when you go on vacation or you get a piece of dessert, you are very serious about enjoying it. Like if you're going to go on vacation, you're not going to go on vacation if you have to work on vacation or you have to do all these other things while you're on vacation. And to me, that's being generous with yourself because you want the full, rich experience.
What's the question?
Are you generous or cheap with yourself?
Oh, with myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought with other people.
No, are you generous or cheap?
Because I was trying to understand what you were saying.
Yeah, generous or cheap with yourself.
I'm very generous with myself. Yeah, I do self-care like a rock star. I do lots of things to enhance my body or face or skin or hair. I have no problem spending money on myself. Now, listen, guys, it was not always this way. I happened to marry a husband that supports me being generous with myself and actually demanded it in the beginning of our relationship. And then I'm like, ooh, I like this. And now I'm really generous with myself. It's your fault. That there I'm gaslighting.
We'll get into that in just a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Victoria said all her faces and mannerisms just like you. One of our Facebook users, I have an impulse to pick ripe fruit falling from unattended trees. My kids tell me I'm just like my mom. I love that. Mary said, my mom used to say it. Now I say it too to my daughter. Mother had 14 kids.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's move now to the too generous or cheap. Are you generous or cheap with yourself?
My question for you, June, is what does too generous mean? I'm like, is that possible?
Nope, it's not. We're going to challenge that. It's not possible to be too generous. Kim said, I'm both generous and cheap with myself. Cheryl, generous. Mary, a bit of both. Prissy said, I'm cheap, but trying to change that.
Good.
Camille, go to your room until you can be decent. That's probably something your parents say. Lisa, hi, Lisa. Cheap with myself, generous with others. Okay, the challenge is going to be, let's turn that one around. Reed, definitely generous. Kelly, generous. I'm generous, then feel guilty afterwards. Cheap. Mandy says, depends on what it is. Little things generous, big things cheap. Cheryl, I'm cheap with myself. Generous with others, but working on that. I'm generous with myself, but not buying things for myself other than experiences. Just like my mother and I always said, I would never be like that. Doris, Faruza, I'm very generous with other people, but not much with myself. Okay, this is great. More generous with others. Camille is generous. June, okay, not too generous towards myself, but generous for sure. My hubby supports my wants and spoiling needs. Yeah. Nancy, starting to be more generous to myself. Thanks to you two. Keep going, Nancy. Kelly, generous and love a bargain too. Yep, that's awesome.
Okay, so I want to share a little bit about this because I came from a place of not doing anything for myself. For instance, I had one pair of pants and a couple of shirts, and I just would wash them over and over. When I got with Jack, I had 3 pairs of underwear. And I'm going to tell you a little story, and this changed my life. And this is the gift of one of the many gifts that Jack brought into my life. Jack came from a very abundant mindset, and I came from poverty. So he introduced me to a world of abundance and beautiful things and fine quality. I never understood any of that or even saw the relevance of it because I was too busy trying to heal myself because I thought I was a disaster. And then I would give everything that I had to other people. Now, I still am very generous with other people, but I'm way more generous with myself. And I'm going to tell you my underwear story. So I felt like if I had a clean pair of underwear on and one in the drawer and one in the laundry, I was good. Like it totally made sense to me. And Jack said to me, and this is after we got together, we're living in the same house. And he's like, babe, we're going to go to the store today and buy you 10 pairs of underwear. And I was like, no, we're not. I am not interested in that. And he's like, babe, 3 pairs of underwear. No, this is not the way we're going to live our life. And I'm like, I started to cry. And I said, all I need is one to wear, one in the drawer, and then I'll wash the other pair. And he's like, we're not doing this anymore. We are here to have an abundant life and we're buying it. And he literally said, we are going. So I bought 10 pairs of underwear, and that's all it took for me to realize that I could have a life of things that I really enjoy and plenty of abundance in my life. And I changed everything by doing that because I had a spouse that really cared about my well-being and living an abundant life. And he came from that. So I learned so many things. So now I am extremely generous with myself, which makes me feel like being more generous with everyone around me. And it's really a beautiful thing. And I enjoy life and the beautiful things of life, period.
Okay.
I just love it.
So I want to speak to this from a mindset coaching perspective and law of attraction. Think about it. If you're generous with yourself, that's an energy, right? Think about the energy of being generous and enjoying things generously and just feeling so generous, expansive, abundant. That's a frequency that you're putting out. Like attracts like. The more generous you are with yourself, the more of that you attract. That's a good thing. It's only a good thing. But we've been conditioned to think it makes us selfish. That's just a thought. Get rid of that thought, right?
Says the mindset master. I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're the way that you are. You introduced me to so many amazing things in life.
Yeah. Well, it goes both ways. It really goes both ways. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's why Tiff and I are doing the live show talking about, are you generous or cheap with yourself? Because we're going to do that for you.
Yep.
So there you go. Be generous. Our challenge to you is be more generous with yourself than you've ever been ever before in your life.
Yep.
We're challenging you. And then come and share it with us in the Connected Empath group and say, hey, this is something I did to be more generous with myself. And this is what it was. And take a picture and post it. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see it. Okay. So I think that's all the questions. You guys are awesome. It's so great to have you all here. It looks like June said, I never used to either, Tiffany Walker. I had worn out everything, even undergarments, 20 years old, but always provided to others first. Now I make me happy because my husband says it's deserved. I didn't think I even needed new things. Wow, what a feeling to have nice new things. Tiff and I are giving each one of you a challenge and permission to enjoy nice things for yourself. Okay? Okay. All right. So now let's move right into gaslighting, shall we? Let's talk about gaslighting. We know that some of you don't understand what it means. Fine. It's a term that's coming up into mainstream a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And it's something that's absolutely critical for you, the empath, to understand.
Yes. Yes, I see rubies in your future as well, Nancy. You and I were the same that way. Okay. Gaslighting. What does it mean? It simply means that someone leads you into doubting your own perception, your own reality, even your memories, and makes you doubt yourself and feel crazy. So this is about someone that will use phrases to come into your life and minimize you and make you feel like the way that you are in every way is not true, and it makes you doubt yourself, and it's called crazy making. And I'm going to share with you today, Jack and I are going to share with you what does gaslighting sound like, so you can get an idea of what it actually sounds like, because it's a little tricky to pick up, especially if you've been being gaslighted.
And I want to tell you where it originates from. The term gaslighting originates from the original screenplay written by Patrick Hamilton in 1939. The screenplay was called Gaslighting, and it was about a husband that was trying to make his wife feel crazy by making small changes in the house. And they had gaslighting, and he would turn the gas lights down a little bit every day, just a tiny little bit. And she could feel and sense something was going on. And she would say, why is it so dim? And he would make her feel crazy.
He's like, it's not dim.
Yeah, he would make her, he was just.
What are you talking about?
He was making her doubt her own perceptions. And this is emotional abuse.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And it often comes through narcissists, but not only narcissists, but narcissists will typically gaslight you. Okay.
Yeah. So this is why we have to have this conversation today, so that you become aware. Knowledge is power. We say this over and over and over. Knowledge is power. And as we go through some of these phrases and talk about the way that being gaslighted makes you feel, so you can identify through the phrase or the feeling anywhere that you may be being gaslighted, this will assist you. If you feel a little triggered, it's okay. Like, there's knowledge is power. Just learn, pay attention. And then our next live show next week is going to be ways to deal with it. So today's just about awareness and understanding better of what it means.
Yes. Now, there is something that's really important for me to share. You may notice that some of these phrases you have said or someone has said. Gaslighting means using these phrases to discount another person on purpose. So you can only be gaslighting or be a gaslighter if you're doing this to get someone to doubt their own perception. It's like a diabolical behavior to try and manipulate someone into not being able to trust themselves so you have control over them. So some of these phrases I'll be sharing with you today, you've said or someone has said to you, but they're not gaslighting you, okay? So you have to pay attention. All of these phrases have to do with minimizing or discounting another person and telling them something that isn't true. Okay. And then you get this thing of like, oh, and we'll talk a little bit about each one. And then I'm going to talk to you also about how it feels to be a person that's been gaslighted. And you may recognize some things you've never seen before. That's why we're doing this, because like Jack said, and like we always say, knowledge is power. Once you know, then you can make empowered decisions in your own behalf and recognize things so that you don't continue to stay in patterns or relationships or situations that are not serving your best and highest good. This is just really powerful information. Okay. Oh, I just saw someone here that I have not talked to.
It was Laurie.
Laurie.
I know. I know.
Laurie Timothy. It's so good to see you.
It is so good to see you. Really great.
Okay. So let's talk about these phrases, shall we?
Mm-hmm. June said, my sister-in-law is this way. She's a pro at making you doubt yourself and feel embarrassed.
Oh, that sucks.
Makes me feel hurt, embarrassed, and angry.
For sure. I'm glad that you can speak about how it makes you feel.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here are very common comments that you'll hear from someone that is trying to make you doubt yourself. Remember, these are not always, just because someone says this doesn't mean they're gaslighting you, but you'll understand when we get into it. So number one, you are so dramatic. So say you're saying something and you're trying to get your point across and someone is discounting you, saying you're so dramatic. Now you'll hear me say to Jack often, oh, here he comes with the dramatics. He's very dramatic, but it isn't like, oh, Jack, you're so dramatic. To try and minimize and make him feel like, oh, maybe I'm acting wrong. Okay. So this is what we're talking about. That's why we're going through these. The next one is you're too sensitive. How many of you have heard this as an empath? It's not always going to be coming from someone that's trying to gaslight you, but it might be. So if it's like, oh, you're sharing something or you're feeling too much feeling or emotion for someone and they're like, you are just too sensitive. This is wrong. It's gaslighting. Okay. Okay. Yep. Constantly. Yep. Okay. And feel free at any time to share who in your life brings gaslighting in. Okay.
And it is the energy behind the phrase, just like that. I mean, that is what we have to really pay attention to.
Yeah. And the things to pay attention to are the word too. So you are too sensitive. You are too emotional. And
Precy said they say to her, always so sensitive. You're always so sensitive. Yeah. Like you damn straight. I'm always so sensitive.
I'm an empath.
Of course I am.
I am way more sensitive than you are. And it's a superpower, nerd.
Yes. And June, that comment is so upsetting for an empath.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes you being an empath to yourself feel like it's wrong.
Yes.
And that's really what gaslighters are trying to do, is make you feel wrong for yourself. So you doubt yourself and just believe everything they say so they can easier control and manipulate you to do whatever they want you to do. Yes.
There is one thing that is probably my biggest pet peeve that gaslighters say when they're trying to apologize. And this is not on the list. I forgot to put it on the list and it just hit me. And it's probably one of the most evident phrases that I want you to pay attention to. When you bring something up to someone that's a gaslighter and they're trying to look for a way to say sorry, but they're not really apologizing, they'll say this: I'm so sorry you feel that way. Now that may sound normal to you, but let me explain to you the difference between I'm so sorry, then I'm so sorry you feel that way. What they're saying is, I'm sorry that you feel wrong about it and that you're the problem. That's what I'm sorry that you feel that way means.
You're wrong about it and you're the problem.
You're the problem. And because someone that's really sorry about and taking accountability, they're like, oh, I had no idea you felt that way. That wasn't my intention. I apologize. I'm so sorry. But they're not going to say to you, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way.
You're right.
That is my biggest pet peeve from those people that do that. So I want you to know that one and watch out for it.
And it is, Cecilia, it's totally dismissive.
Completely. I'm so sorry.
They're looking
you feel
down their
that
nose
way.
at you like, you're such a fucking idiot.
Obviously, you've got a problem because you're feeling that way. And I'm sorry you're doing that to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My mother says that. Sorry you feel that way. Yep. It's gaslighting. So I'm just letting you know so that you're aware. And because you'll hear that and you'll feel like, well, they apologized. Why do I still feel terrible? And why do I feel so weird about it? It's because they're not apologizing. They're saying in a way that makes it look like they could be apologizing, but they're not.
Mandy said a lifetime of being gaslighted by parents. Not as bad now that I have boundaries.
Yeah.
And also by exes and sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the boundaries, that's really where you're going to get your power back. Right. And you start setting those boundaries, and even being generous with yourself is the beginning of that really powerful relationship with yourself where your feelings and joy matters to you. So, but we'll talk about that next week.
And June, next week, did you just say this? Because I was reading as you were talking. June, next week, we're going to be talking how to respond to these things. But I will tell you with the one of like, oh, I'm sorry you feel this way. What I would say to someone is, why are you sorry that I feel this way? And then they're going to be like, they won't even know what to say. And it's like, why are you sorry that I feel this way? And it confuses their brain. It's kind of, here's the deal. Some people get kind of mad at me because you have to come up with strategies to work with people that are trying to control you if you're in relationships with them. And that means you have to play the game. And I wish that I could say, just turn the other cheek and ignore it. But they'll usually come after you. So you have to stand up for yourself. And that means you have to have strategies in knowing what to say. And it's like you're playing a game and you're not trying to manipulate them, but you are standing up for yourself and not allowing them to say things that are bullcrap. And so that's the one question you can ask about that. Well, why are you sorry that I feel this way? And it will confuse them. They'll be like, well, and then they'll say something else, and you may have to ask other questions, but you have the power here. And the only reason you would just let these things go if you're not aware of how to deal with it. And that's why we do these classes, so that you have the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, then you're like, oh, I recognize what that is. And I don't want that in my experience. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make empowered decisions for myself and either set boundaries or have a conversation or leave that relationship. So this is really important information.
And Lana said, thank you, because I felt that feeling of craziness from certain people, and it completely hurt me.
Yeah.
Tremendously, deeply down inside to my core. Thank you for letting me know that there is a name for what I was feeling and being given the opportunity to understand it. The power to know that difference, etc. This is why we do these.
Yep. I'm so
calls.
glad we can talk about this. And I want to thank Dr.
Rodriguez.
Dr. Gabriela Rodriguez. She's the one that I studied to get ready for this class because she had some amazing information. So thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for the information. Medical doctor that knows what she's talking about when it comes to gaslighting, because it's such a topic, especially for empaths.
Okay, Merritt asked a question, Tiff. What about the people who say, sorry you feel that way, but you're responsible for your own feelings? Nothing I say or do should change your feelings.
Yeah, that's just them not taking accountability to work things out. It's true that it's like, if they're coming to you like, I'm sorry that you feel this way and you're responsible for your own feelings. It's true, but it's not a place of a back and forth conversation to try and understand each other. And it sounds like a deflecting method, that they're like, you're responsible for your feelings. You're not my problem. And I'm sorry you feel that way. You have to feel the energy. And it's true. No one's responsible for your feelings, but your feelings are valid. And when you're in a relationship with someone that you care about, it's important to be able to talk about those things in a way that doesn't leave you feeling that terrible feeling of like, they don't really give a rat's ass about me. And it's all about them deflecting. What you shared, Merritt, sounds like someone that is deflecting and doesn't really want to work something out and is trying to put all that energy on you. Okay. Yeah, I know you all know what this is.
Yeah, you sure do.
And we're just getting started. So hang in there, my friends. Okay, the next one. This is a big one. You're just imagining things. Think about it. You're just imagining things. You bring something to someone's attention that are really important to you, and it's like, oh, you're just imagining things. Gaslighting. Okay. The next one. You sound insane right now, right? You know that that's what's happening, right? So let me say it again. You sound insane right now, right? So it's like, oh, you're sounding insane, and then they'll ask you to confirm that you're insane to them. That is crap. That makes me so mad.
This is an important topic today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I know that we're not able to go through every single comment, but it's important that you share, because it gets it out of your body and also helps others recognize that they're not the only one, and what your story is. It's really important, you guys.
Yeah. And I want to speak to this really quick. Karen said, I recently told my mother if she puts a but on an apology, she's making it not her fault. She was shocked. That's absolutely true. I'm sorry, but you're not sorry.
Every
if you
time.
say but.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When someone has said something to me and said I hurt their feelings, inside I'm like, I don't really have the ability to hurt your feelings, but this is what I say, so I'm not minimizing the other person. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it came across that way. That was not my intention. And then I share with them what my intention was, and I'm so sorry that this has happened. Okay. There's a way to take ownership, because, when I'm talking to people, and even if it's not my intention and it comes across wrong, part of the responsibility is making sure that I'm understood from where I'm coming from. And the other responsibility is the person realizing that I'm not there to make them feel any kind of feeling at all, that they're responsible for their feelings. But when you're like, you're nuts, like you're insane right now, right? That's a gaslighting thing, because that person's not engaging in coming to a resolution from both sides. It's just pushing the blame onto one person.
And Jean asked, is it wrong for me to cut off 4 of my sisters? I have 6, but I don't have anything to do with them except 2 of them. No, it's not wrong if that's aligned for you.
No.
If you're acting according to putting your best interest first, that's not wrong. And sometimes the whole family thing can make it all messy, but no, you have to follow your intuition and trust your own gut.
Yeah.
And someone also said in the thread, talking about being an empath, this is especially damaging to empaths, the gaslighting piece, because of how deep feeling you are. And that to be using the words, you're so irrational, you're so emotional, what is wrong with you? Why are you are too sensitive. Yeah, that's super damaging, because that's part of your expression in this universe, is that sensitivity part of you. And only 20% roughly of the population falls into that category of being so deeply sensory. And it's a good thing.
Yes.
But people that don't want to feel, they're going to push back against you.
Yeah. And I am going to talk about the after effects of how you feel when you've been gaslighted, and it's going to give you some good information about yourself. And I want to tell you something. Now that you're hearing all of this, now you can be aware. So when someone does gaslight you, you're like, oh yeah, that's gaslighting, and I'm not going to buy into them making me feel and doubt myself. Because, you have to if you've been gaslighted, there's a big unraveling that has to happen, and you have to reestablish your identity, who you are. Like, it can cause anxiety, depression, self-doubt, all kinds of things. But once you know what it is, you're in your power seat.
Yeah. And Barbara, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. She says you look lovely in your blue.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
Mandy, where you said, I have to ask my husband to confirm that I'm not making things up or thinking clearly for validation after my lifetime of gaslight conditioning. He's my rock. That's wonderful.
I'm so glad you have that.
Yeah. And if any of you have that trusted person that you can kind of take something to when you're in the process of finding your footing, finding your voice and your self-belief and self-trust, that's a wonderful thing. And if you don't have that person, keep listening to the things that we're talking and speaking to, and you'll get stronger and stronger at it.
Yeah.
naturally. Luann said, how about when people take your words and turn them against you?
Yeah.
That's happened too often. That's
Yep.
BS to me.
Yep.
They don't want to be accountable for their own bullshit.
That's true. That's absolutely true. This is all about someone not taking accountability for their part of the relationship and discounting you and making you doubt yourself so they can control you. That's what all this is. Okay. All right. The next one. You're making a big deal out of nothing, just like always. That speaks for itself. Like, that's a really terrible thing to say to someone. Nothing you say makes sense. Do you hear yourself? Like, these are putting little bugs in your head that tell you cannot trust yourself. And my friends, I'm telling you, you can trust yourself, and you must.
You can.
Okay. You're being paranoid. There's another one. Here's another one. You're acting crazy, or you're overreacting again. Okay. Just a few more. I know these are intense. They're pretty triggering for sure. When you say something to someone and you bring it to their attention that they've hurt you in some way, and they're like, I was just joking. You take everything too personally. So they minimize your feelings about what you're experiencing. And they're like, oh, were they joking? Oh, maybe I'm just too serious. Like, it makes you question yourself. The next one is, that never happened. This is what happened, and this is what I actually said, when it goes directly against what you experienced. And you have to pay attention, guys. You have to pay attention to yourself. It's like, yeah. And if you start questioning yourself, you know you're being gaslighted. Okay. The next one, why should I believe you? Everyone knows you're full of it. That's a big one.
And I want to bring up a point that someone made that goes right along with that. Nancy said, when you're someone that suffered with mental illness, but you're healthy now and trying to stand up for yourself, she said, I've had some narcissistic people throw my history of mental illness issues in my face.
Yeah.
You're going nuts again.
Oh, Nancy. Nope. And I'm glad you're like, nope, I'm standing in my power. And that's where you're going to have to come. And Nancy, that is a lie, what they said to you. And I'm telling you, I know you know it, but I am also an outsider looking in, and I know you, and they are lying to you. That is not true. Okay. That's the worst.
And then Mary had a question. My ex didn't say many things with gaslighting things, but I believe his actions were his way of gaslighting, like not coming home after going to the pub. Would this be true? Mary is asking.
It very well could be. And if you say anything to him and he kind of brushes it off or brushes your feelings, that is the gaslighting that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let me get through these few next ones. You're not thinking clearly. When you're saying how you're thinking and they question your thinking, is like, oh, you're not thinking clearly. It's kind of like when Nancy said, oh, you're going nuts again, that type of thing. And then the last one, you're making yourself the victim when I'm the one that should be mad. Right? It's like, oh, and that just makes you go, wait, what? I'm a victim. Am I a victim? And because you're an empath, you're willing to question yourself because you want to become your best self. So you're like, oh, maybe I am a victim. And then they can tell you all these things where you're a victim and convince you. And then you're like, oh yeah, he probably, or she probably should be the one that's upset. I'm the problem.
This is so important today, this topic. Barbara said, yep, I've been through that. I get told that he has to choose his words wisely so I don't freak out. Right, because I'm so sensitive. Leona said, my ex-boyfriend would always twist my words around to suit him.
Totally.
Laurie, I have come to believe that I'm too sensitive because I take things too personally, and I don't have a good sense of humor because I don't understand their humor.
Yeah, Laurie, those things are not true.
Another question Laurie said that gets brought up: have you stopped taking your meds? Oh shit, that's gaslighting.
That's not good. Not good.
Yeah, rewriting the truth and erasing your experience. That never happened. Yeah, this is rough. Cheryl, I've been told you overthink things.
Yep.
Kelly, I've been told these about 85% of the time.
Yep.
Another one, I told you about this.
Right. Yep, I told you about this when they didn't. And you're like, do I have a problem with remembering
Like,
things?
am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
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 Okay, let's talk about the feelings, how gaslighting can make us feel.
Yes. So here is a list of how you're going to feel after you've been gaslighted for a period of time.
Merritt said, we need a GLE, a gaslight extinguisher. We'll create that one next week.
Let's call it that.
GLE.
The gaslight extinguisher. Okay, so this is how you're going to feel. Constantly feeling confused or like you're going crazy. And when I go through these, just say yes or no. Yep, I feel this, or no, I don't. Okay, constantly feeling, let's do it this way. If you feel these things, just say yes. You don't have to say no. You can just say, yep, been there. Constantly feeling confused or like you're going crazy. Number 2, frequently doubting yourself. Am I too emotional? Did this actually happen? Okay. Having difficulty trusting yourself and other people. Constantly assuming that you did something wrong, feeling like it's always your fault and somehow you are the one to blame. And you'll just accept it. Okay.
So many yeses.
Look at you guys.
There
I'm
is
so
a
glad we're talking
better
about
day
day.
ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Making excuses for other people's actions or rationalizing why they did something to hurt you. And it kind of sounds like this. Oh, they had a really hard day. So, that's why he or she did that. I'm sure it'll be better tomorrow. Or, yeah, I don't think that's what they actually meant. Yeah, no, it's okay. That type of thing. Okay. Feeling like you have to prove everything. Merritt's like, F that. Yes, F it all, for sure. The next one, feeling like you constantly have to back up your reasoning views of things with an abundance of facts. Well, the reason that I didn't get this done or I didn't do this is because of this.
Or if you are sharing something and then you feel like you have to have all the scientific evidence behind it, or it's not believable.
Yeah.
If it's coming from you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Sensing something is wrong, but feeling like you're not quite able to put your finger on it. This will be a big one, you guys, because gaslighters can say things in a way that you don't recognize, but it leaves you feeling really bad after, and you can't figure out what just happened. Okay. And the last one, you often feel misunderstood and alone and isolated. Okay. Wasn't this great information, you guys?
So it's such an important call today.
Yeah. Heather's like, yeah, fuck this shit. Seriously, I get excited when we talk about things that are just so important for you to understand, because I know everyone that listens to this class today and watches this, it's going to change your life, because now you're going to have awareness. Once awareness happens, like I've said a million times, you will be able to make empowered decisions in your own behalf that will benefit your life so that you can live your best life now. Because that's what we're all about. And empaths are the most powerful, amazing people in the world. And they need to recognize when they're being gaslighted, or they're in a narcissistic relationship, or they're being abused in some way that they're not aware of, so that you can opt out of those patterns, because it's your time right now. And you're not here to be gaslighted, my friends. You're here to know the truth about yourself and stand in knowingness about who you are, not self-doubt. Self-doubt is just something that was planted in your mind a long time ago by people that wanted to control you because they love what you have to offer.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing that anymore.
We have a couple questions.
Okay.
Becky said, do you think jealousy can play a part of gaslighting?
Oh, 100%.
I felt this way a lot after arguments with my sister.
Yeah, when someone's jealous of you, they will say things to get something from you so they don't feel as jealous. Jealousy is a big part of gaslighting. Absolutely. Was there another question?
I'm just looking really quick. It seems like there was one. Is that Julianne, what was your question about self-sabotage? If you want to pop it back in the thread, it looked like you had a question around something being self-sabotage. Would you clarify that? And let me see if there are any other questions. So nice not to feel alone anymore. Like-minded friends sure soften the blow. June, we're so glad to be here with you and that you're here with us. Amanda, yeah, watch the replay. It's a really good one. You just tuned in. And any of you that are wanting to get stronger at knowing and understanding and exposing gaslighting, jot down some of the phrases that really stood out to you so that you'll pay attention to those. Julianne said, my trauma caused all these feelings and they misdiagnosed me with bipolar 1.
Me too, Julianne.
Almost a more traumatic experience to go through. Then I had to recover from that before getting back to healing from the trauma.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with bipolar, a rapid cycling bipolar, because I had such wild mood swings, and I had 14 rounds of shock therapy because the medications weren't working. And what they didn't understand is I was an empath and I had feelings and emotions that I didn't understand. And then once I got into my power with things and I got the knowledge that I needed, there was no medication, no more medication, no more mental illness diagnoses. And life's a whole lot better now. And now we spend our lives teaching other empaths how to live an empowered life and an unstoppable life as an empath, because you're here to do that.
And this is why Tiff and I, this is really why we do what we do. We come in and do this live show every single week and live stream and be able to talk and connect. We also do our podcast. We've been doing our podcast for 5 years. We just recorded episode 158. So that's over 158 hours of support for you. Mm-hmm. Our mission on this planet is to help you, the empath, stand in your power and be unstoppable in your self-belief, to be unstoppable in your self-trust, to be unstoppable in living your best life now, to be unstoppable in setting boundaries and self-care. And the place that we do that is our group. We have Connected Empath is your first step. It's our free Facebook group. It's loaded with resources and teachings, and we're always, like tomorrow or Saturday, we're doing a masterclass. It's free. And the masterclass, just register. It's at empathrising.com/masterclass. empathrising.com/masterclass. It's totally free. It's this Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll be doing that class on Zoom. And join, register, get into it. Come into our Connected Empath Facebook group. You are not alone. You do not have to live this life as a solitary existence as an empath anymore. Yeah. We're here to be that voice of reason, supporting you in your journey of living empowered, setting those boundaries, believing in yourself, putting the naysayers aside so that you can continue on your path. The next tier after Connected Empath is our paid Empath Rise and Thrive coaching group. A lot of the people here in this thread, when you say that, yeah, that was me before Tiff and Jack, they're the ones that have up-leveled their life. And if you're somebody that's like, oh my God, I need this in a bigger way, get in our Connected Empath group right now. If you're already there and you're ready to take it to the next level, join our coaching group, Empath Rise and Thrive. The way you do that is, like, if you don't know how to find us, our email is teamempath at tiffandjack.com. Send us an email. We'll get in touch with you and have a conversation. And we're not going to stop. This is our mission on this planet. We're in it for the marathon of our purpose of
totally. And
supporting you.
I want to say something really quick. I do share my story a little bit about where I come from, so empaths know what's possible for them. And I can always tell I'm talking to empaths because they feel deeply about the trauma that I've experienced. And I know that most of all of us empaths have had traumatic experiences, and we have heard many, many stories, life stories of empaths. And this is what I want to share, is that a lot of people feel really sad for my story, and I appreciate your compassion. I have really overcome so many things. And when I talk about these things, I don't have any more heart pain or any more heartache. So please don't allow it to take you down into the dumps. If I have to get shock therapy or I was living in poverty, don't allow it to make you feel too bad, because I feel really fantastic. And the experiences that I went through are the reason I'm where I am talking to you today. So I would never go back and change it, but I certainly don't want to do it again. And because of the things I've gone through, I love to be able to help people. And I know Jack feels the same way, but I won't speak for him. I love to be able to help people so they don't have to go through all that for years and years and years and years. If I can save someone at least 1 year and give them 1 extra year of joy in their life, it's everything I went through is worth it. So thank you for all your love and compassion, and don't feel too sad for me because I'm not sad. And some really powerful things have come out of all of our experiences. We're all here living this life, and we've all survived, and now we get to thrive, not just survive.
And I think it's absolutely critical that you do also share your story, that you understand this is a woman right here next to me that went through 14 rounds of electroshock therapy. This is a woman that was diagnosed with the worst case of bipolar her psych had ever seen. This was a woman that was on 25 psychotropic drugs a day to manage all the things that were wrong with her, and is on no medication today. Now, we're not doctors. We're not telling you to jump off your medication, but we will tell you this is where we are. This is the woman that had to get buckets of snow and melt it so she could flush her toilet because her water had been turned off. So when Tiff is talking and she's just sharing, and you see this gorgeous woman sitting here, like that looks like a movie star and covered, bedecked in jewels and gorgeousness and her lashes and her makeup. She just looks like a movie star. This is a woman that has fucking been to hell and back. So she could stand right here and say, keep going. Set your boundaries. This is what gaslighting is. Take a stand for yourself. No, you're not crazy. And she can say it from a place of experience. This isn't just a feel-good conversation. This is the truth. And you can feel it. I know you can, because I can feel it. We believe in you. We stand for you. We spend our time. We spend our money. We spend our energy thinking about you, trying to find you, so that we can tell you, you're not alone. Come on, like link up. We got this. We got this. Together we can. Let's fucking do it. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we do another masterclass. That's why we have our Empath Lab that starts April 18th. Save the date. Like that'll be the next free workshop that we do. It's 5 days, because we're not going to shut up. Because we stand for you. We believe in you.
Boy, that's true. We will never shut up.
We're not going to shut up.
Even when people tell us we're going to burn in hell because we're evil.
And that was the guy on her thread just last week. He's like, you're going to burn in hell.
You're going to burn in hell soon enough. And I'm like, well, I've already been there. So
because she said,
whatever.
I'm a psychic medium. So he's like, you're going to burn in hell. It's like, okay, all right. If that's what you're going to say,
whatever.
So be it.
I mean, I've seen hell. Yeah. I am a psychic medium, so I've seen those scary things, but whatever.
And we've had people come after us, and people call Tiff crazy, and because she's open about having been diagnosed with bipolar and those things, and in legal battles, people have come at her directly and said, oh, she's nuts.
Yeah, totally.
And what all that is an opportunity to stand up and say, okay, prove it.
Yeah, there were a couple people that tried to come after me in court that were the biggest gaslighters. I saw through the whole effing thing, and I just stood up and said, yep, this is me, and if you don't like it, kiss my ass. And that's where I'm at. And this is, I have a pretty sassy attitude. So you may not be as a person that swears like I do or gets that little snotty attitude, but I'm here and Jack is here, and we're here to teach you how to live as an unstoppable healer.
Yeah. To have everything you want, to just go for it and go big and do it with gusto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the love.
Yeah. You guys are so awesome. I look forward to these shows each week, because I get to connect with real empaths instead of just doing our podcast and knowing that empaths are going to hear it, but we get to connect with you live. What's it called? Live
stream. Yeah. Live stream.
Real time.
Yeah. And not only that, I just figured out a way to get our podcast on our Facebook page. Our podcast is on iTunes and everywhere you listen to podcasts. But just recently, Facebook made it possible for me to connect our RSS feed. So you can go to our Tiff and Jack. It's just Tiff and Jack is our business page, and our podcast lives there. And you can actually subscribe through Facebook. You can actually listen to our podcast through Facebook, which is super cool.
Awesome.
So now if you want to go listen to the podcast version, well, our podcast doesn't get published till next Tuesday. So the live show will always be, you'll get that first. And then next Tuesday will be the podcast. The podcast that's available right now was last week's show, all about being an ambivert or being an extrovert, or are you both
An ambivert,
introvert
yeah.
and extrovert? So, oh my God. And I love that Kiss My Ass. And Cecilia, I love, she's like, if someone tells you you're going to burn in hell, see you there.
I know, right?
Yeah,
See
I
you
love
there.
I love that. So, oh, it's been good being here with you today. So good being here.
Thanks for all the love and all the compliments.
Yeah.
It's just really kind and
God, it
sweet.
feels
I
good.
appeat it.
I wish we could just kiss your face.
I know. Too bad we can't all meet on the beach right now and just have a wild party.
Yeah. We'll
one of these days.
Empath party.
Yeah.
We're all
one of these days.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's a wrap. A couple of the things: Connected Empath Facebook group, free, fabulous, first step, amazing. And then we have our Empath Masterclass, the Unstoppable Empath Masterclass. That's all about empaths at work and really finding that unstoppableness about yourself and feeling very empowered as an empath at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this masterclass, the topic is.
And that's this Saturday.
That's this Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're doing it on Zoom. So you have to register so you get the Zoom link.
Yep.
And the registration happens, go to empathrising.com/masterclass, all one word.
Yes. And I would love to see your face on Zoom so we can connect face to face. You don't have to do it that way.
You
I
don't have
totally
to show
respect. But if you'll show your face, I would love it. Because, I just like
then
to
we can
your
see
gorgeous
you.
faces.
Yeah, then we can see each other. So big love, big hug. Here's to you living your best life.
And don't forget to eat dessert first, because life is meant to be